So we've looked at macros and how creating macros will actually create the VBA for you behind the scenes. And what we have here is a layout with Excel and its VBA window. You can lay out the same way, but the reason I've laid things out this way is to demonstrate how the VBA is created whilst you record your macro. So in the Excel side, if we go to our developer window and record a new macro, and we'll just call this test macro, store it in this workbook. Okay, what you'll find in the Visual Basic Editor window, if we click into here, here's our file, book 1, and we can scroll down through all the sheets and find that we now have a module section, and we have a module called module 1, which I can double click to open. I can see the module 1 code sheet. In here I can see a subroutine has been created called test macro with the name of the macro as a comment. Now if we go back to Excel and actually start doing things, you can see suddenly a line of code has appeared. Range C2.select, into which I could type my name. When I press return, I then get active cell.formula R1C1 equals Guy Vaccaro. Range C3 select, because I've moved down to C3. And if we move across, you can see that the range that it's selecting moves. But it's not saying move so many cells, it's just selecting a different cell. So if I go select this cell here and type my date of birth, then that appears. Active cell.formula R1C1 equals 8/2/1966. Let's go back to here and say equals today minus my date of birth and return. And you can see how the macro is building in the VBA code here right before your very eyes. If we then highlight all those cells there, that gets placed in the code. And let's change the background color to yellow, put some borders on. I can see there it's used a with selection and placed a border on, and with selection to do the formatting. So we can see absolutely everything that's going on in here, and sometimes that can be quite useful. It's a good way of learning the VBA code, to actually record a macro and watch it do things before your very eyes. Don't forget though in the Excel that you need to then stop recording at some point, otherwise this macro will just go on and on and on. So it's a nice little utility that allows you to watch the code being written rather than writing it yourself. And we've done it by opening Excel and opening up the Visual Basic Editor. Don't forget a keyboard shortcut for that is Alt F11, and then just arranging the two windows on the screen so that you can see the contents of module 1. Now module 1 here will not appear until you actually start recording the macro, unless you already have some macros in this current workbook. We double clicked module 1 to open the code sheet here, so we could then watch the macro build. And we saw it place in each line of code as something happened. Don't forget, the macro records actions, not time.